Hello, welcome back. This is your lead instructor, Gennaro here, and today we're going to be talking about budgeting and resource allocation. I can't stress enough how important that is because these are important pillars. Because if you don't have that budgeting in place, that financial resource in place, it's going to be hard to really grow your actual cybersecurity infrastructure. It's going to be hard to do so. So when you're budgeting for this, it has to be strategic, it has to be data-driven, and it has to align with the financial resources within the organization's risk management, right? Because the priorities are a must. So it is important because without adequate financing, it's going to be really hard to take on those different tasks like incident response and being able to stay compliant with certain regulations. Now, the key components though of this is going to be analyzing the risk, being able to understand, well, what are we allocating to? Knowing that in order for us to be really, really effective, we have to be able to understand the planning behind it, what budget, how much can we align our IT and our cybersecurity service. It is very important to understand how to allocate our resources effectively because we need to have strategies around, well, are we going to be more risk-based on the prioritized list, or are we going to be more so shared resources or balanced? It's really going to depend upon the principles that are set within the organization. And then you can follow a methodology around budgeting as well too, because if you really think about it, that top-down method could work. But in some cases though, if you wanted to go from the bottom up, where you have your team analyzing everything we would need, looking at, okay, well, what do we need to put in place right now? What type of encryption do we need? And then you can have that being bubbled up. Well, that'll help, right? Now, there are just other ways you can go about doing this too, but there are some factors that are going to be influencing how we go about allocating these resources, such as compliance, right? HIPAA, GDPR. Well, and how about any past or current attacks, right? Because if we know that there's a certain rise in credential stuffing or ransomware, then we know we need to be ensuring that we have the adequate funds to invest in something that can help with that. And then the human factor as well too, because the training piece is very important. We need to have A+ training. We need to have regular updated security playbooks that will allow us to continually improve and implement new strategies as they come along. Because, well, it's going to be about understanding, again, from that management perspective, right? We're looking at how to build out a program, or just understanding in general how the aspect of it works, what metrics we would need to evaluate if this is really working for us or not. Well, you're going to need your metrics, like we talked about before, right? We're going to need to have audits done post-incident because think about our lessons learned. Okay, well, this is how much this data breach costs. That's because our main production server was compromised. And then being able to compare from that incident to another one, or from the baseline to this incident, right? So just being able to understand that there are ways around it, but we have to ensure that when we're allocating the correct funds and we're trying to put into place budgeting and resource allocation, it's good to go from any direction, right? Whatever methodology fits well with the organization. So an IT company, like our example here, could say, okay, well, 40% is going to go for strictly tools and the acquisition of maybe Netgear, maybe some Cisco firewalls, maybe some other CMs. Right? So it's all going to depend upon that organization and what they see is important, ensuring that risk management to them makes sense. Again, it's been great. Gennaro here, CEO of Cortex Solutions, and we talked about budgeting and resource allocation, brought to you by ACSMI. I hope you have a great one. Take care.